From Yankee Stadium, the Red Sox can lock down the AL East pennant with a win or a Toronto loss. It's Game 2 of the Yankees. Clay Buchholz on the mound. We'll keep you updated on Baltimore at Toronto as the Sox try to clinch the pennant here tonight. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Yankee Stadium. Great to have you with us. Dave O'Brien, my partner, is Red Sox Hall of Famer Jerry Remy. Garen Austin along in just a couple of moments. And, Jerry, kind of amazing. You and I were talking about it last night during the broadcast that Clay Buchholz goes tonight with an opportunity to pitch the Red Sox to the division crown after everything he's gone through this season.
Well, I just think back a couple of months ago, nobody expected Clay Buchholz to be in this position at all, where he would be back in the starting rotation and pitching very well for the Red Sox. And you see the numbers over the last 6 starts, a record of 4-0. 3.09 ERA, and he's also had a win against the New York Yankees coming very recently on September 16th. Now, Buchholz is really going to have to be on top of his game tonight because the Yankee lineup is really stacked with a lot of left-handed hitters. Joe Girardi has filled that lineup with left-handed hitters against Buchholz, especially in this ballpark with the short right field fence out there. So, you know, it's going to be interesting to watch him work. But, you know, 2 months ago, all of Red Sox Nation was ready to give up on Clay Buchholz. Now he's got a chance to win a very big game for the Red Sox.
Pitched quite well against them the last time out. It's a cool October-like evening. The Red Sox hoping to pop the corks on that champagne. Looking pretty relaxed at the moment. Just one more win to get for the pennant. And when we come back, Aaron Austin will be talking to John Farrell about the makeup and the focus of the 2016 Red Sox. Is brought to you by buyatoyota.com. Toyota's website for deals. Dunkin' Donuts, America runs on Dunkin'. Santander Bank, you're all right with Simply Right checking from Santander Bank. DraftKings, the official one-day fantasy baseball partner of your Boston Red Sox. Your New England Audi dealers. And by Southwest Airlines, yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. Back at Yankee Stadium here in the Bronx, the Red Sox are certainly hoping it is clinch night. Time to bring in Garen Austin, double duty on the field, and she hopes in the clubhouse with all that champagne. Garen, you had an interesting chat, some interesting stuff coming from John Farrell comparing this team to a recent Red Sox champion.
That's right, OB. You know, the Red Sox have had success on the road. They've won 11 of their last 13 road games, and John Farrell said a large part of that road success is because this team just likes being around each other. He said you can really tell that they care about each other, and in a lot of ways remind him of the team from 2013.
The focus that our group has, and this goes to the focus of what today is needing, includes guys accepting their role, much like we just talked about with the guys at third base. It might not be the most ideal situation if you look at an everyday major league player, but for those guys to have the focus of what their individual routines are, to be able to accept the role, that's important. I think any championship team is going to have those players accepting of those roles. Above and beyond all, this is a team that cares for one another, and I don't say that loosely. That's That's I think an element that emerges among a group that's got something shared, that's something special. It was very evident in that group in 2013. This group is similar in that regard. So they're tough, they're focused, they're talented, but like I said, above all, they care for one another in an extraordinary way.
And they need just one more win to secure the 2016 American League East pennant. And, of course, could even lose tonight. And if Toronto falls to the Baltimore Orioles, and the Orioles do have their ace on the mound tonight in Chris Tillman, then the Red Sox would also secure the pennant. Red Sox have actually won the division title twice on this date, on September 28th. They did it in 2007 and again earlier than that in 1986. Yankees taking the field here prior to Game 2 tonight. This greater coverage of baseball brought to you by T-Mobile. Looking at the best records in the American League and their games remaining. Red Sox at the moment a half game behind the Texas Rangers in that run for the best record. They have 4 left. Red Sox with 5 left, including tonight. The Cleveland Indians now 1.5 back. They have 5 left on their schedule. And Texas will be idle on Thursday while the Red Sox finish up this series against the New York Yankees. Time now for the starting lineups for the Red Sox, brought to you by buyatoyota.com. Toyota's website for deals. Dustin Pedroia hitting .320, starts it. Then Xander Bogaerts at short. David Ortiz, the DH, had a very quiet night last night. Mookie Betts in right field. Hanley Ramirez at first. Jackie Bradley in center. Brock Holt really nailing down that third base spot. He's hitting 7th. Andrew Benintendi in left field, and Sandy Leon does the catching and hits out of the 9-hole against the Yankees starter presented by Buick. That's the right-hander Brian Mitchell. He's 1-2. ERA at .450, making the 8th start of his major league career.
And the Yankees defense is brought to you by DraftKings. They are 6th in the league with 84 errors on the season. Chase Headley will be at third base. D.D. Gregorius, the shortstop. Stalin Castro at second. And Mark Teixeira, the first baseman. Left to right, Brett Gardner, Jacoby Ellsbury, Mason Williams. Gary Sanchez doing the catching for Mitchell.
Here are your umpires tonight. They're brought to you by ToyotaCertified.com. John Tumpane has the plate. Alan Porter, the umpire, at first. Brian Onora at second. And Jeff Kellogg is at third base. He is the crew chief. Where available, this telecast can be heard in Spanish by selecting the SAP button on your TV remote. SAP presented by ToyotaCertified.com. Search for your factory back Toyota Certified used vehicle right now.
Buenas noches, amigos.
I didn't like seeing any water on one of our lenses there. It is cloudy at the moment, and there is a chance of rain later on tonight. In fact, they're predicting we will have showers sometime after 10, maybe 11, and then the weather in New York is going to deteriorate for the next several days, including tomorrow, which is the finale of this series. And Jerry, to focus just for a minute on that home field advantage, that's being discussed in every corner of the Red Sox clubhouse.
Absolutely. You know, first of all, they want to get this finished with. Get the division, obviously, get that taken care of, and then continue to go on to get that home field advantage. It's so important in the playoffs, and especially in that 3 out of 5 series that you'll be playing, the first one that you do play.
That's a great reminder. That's a short series, relatively speaking. Best out of 5. Texas has played one more game than the Red Sox. So the Sox a half game behind the Rangers, going for that best overall record in the American League. Dustin Pedroia having a terrific year and about to lead off at .320, 15 homers and 74 RBIs out of the leadoff guy.
Yeah, we were talking about that yesterday. You know, leadoff for hitting second in the lineups. With 74 runs batted in, pretty impressive.
It's actually started misting a little bit here at Yankee Stadium. So right away it's starting to get wet. And here's Mitchell's first pitch of the ball game. And that is in there for a strike, and we're underway.
The last time we saw him at Fenway Park, he was basically a fastball, curveball, changeup type pitcher.
25-year-old out of North Carolina, 6'3", about 210 pounds. Pops out of the mid of Sanchez, who's doing the catching tonight.
And pretty good velocity at 96 miles an hour on that last fastball.
He also has an excellent curveball, which is often his strikeout pitch. Bogaerts on deck, and the 1-1. Dustin last night was 2 for 4. He drove in 2 runs. And the right-hander's 2-1. Tried to hold up, but it's in there for a strike anyway.
So far, Pedroia has seen 1 pitch inside, everything else away from him.
There are 2 major questions tonight. Will the Red Sox clinch this evening? And will somebody get married? Will somebody again propose down the left field line? That is chopped to the right side, and Castro is up and over in time. It was one of the real highlights last night. Was the young man going to make the proposal? You know, thousands of people around him, and he loses the darn ring.
Well, they're off to a good start. Actually, I thought the applause was because she said no. I mean, I've never seen that happen in a ballpark before. I thought that maybe was what happened. I didn't realize the ring was gone.
And eventually found it. Took him about 15 minutes.
Spent a lot of money on that ring.
Darn right. She did say yes. Xander Bogaerts 295 with 20 homers, 88 runs batted in. And he's 3 for 6 against Mitchell with a home run. Worth another look. Last night down that left field line, she was in a panic. He was in a panic. And finally, inside some clothing, it was located, and everyone went crazy as if someone had hit a grand slam.
It was probably the biggest cheer of the night here at Yankee Stadium.
All's well that ends well. Huge hand, the 0-2. And they swing out in front of the plate. It's going to be a fair ball and on to first base in time to get Bogaerts. 2 up and 2 down for the Sox, and Ortiz coming up.
That's one more pitch you got to add into his repertoire. The cut fastball. He throws that at about 90 miles an hour. Just a little tap. That died in front of home plate, and here's Ortiz.
David hitting .318 with 37 homers, 124 runs batted in, but last night a long one for him. He was 0 for 5. Afterwards, he was miffed at the constant pitcher-catcher meetings that the Yankees conducted. He was annoyed at himself, too.
He was also miffed at the fact that he didn't get many of those last night. Fastballs for strikes.
The 1-0 pitch. David said after the game, that ain't fun, the night he had, but he was also talking about all the meetings. He said they tricked me. Too much talking out there. I'll trick them tomorrow. We'll see what he does here tonight. Count 2-0 from Mitchell.
Cut fastball 2-0. And again to the outside part of the plate.
'53 career home runs against the Yankees. And 171 runs batted in. It's a particularly windy night here at Yankee Stadium. It's really been gusting in and has added to the chill. And now a bit damp. The 2-1 inside. Baltimore and Toronto are underway. In fact, they're now in the bottom of the first inning, and they have no score. Good count for David, the 3-1, taking all the way in there for a strike.
Getting the curveball on the 3-1 count. Obviously, they're not going to give him with the fastball in that situation, so Ortiz just takes the curveball on the 3-1 count. And again, that curveball just on the outside part of the plate.
Mitchell's 3-2, swinging a shot, driven to right center field on the move. Ellsbury, and he will make the play and then onto the warning track. Hit hard by Big Papi, but nothing to show on that cut as Jacoby Ellsbury runs it down. by New England Chevy dealers. Brett Gardner, Jacoby Ellsbury, Gary Sanchez, 1, 2, 3. Then it's McCann, Castro, and Gregorius. Mark Teixeira, who's retiring on Sunday, is at first base. Chase Headley at third. Mason Williams in right field. Against the Red Sox starting pitcher, presented by New England Audi dealers, Clay Buchholz, 8-10 in ERA, right at 5.
And a 3-game winning streak. Wins against San Diego, New York, and Baltimore.
Gardner hitting at 260. He'll drop down to bunt, of course. Very good bunter. Clay's first one is in there for strike 1.
We see this lineup tonight for the Yankees. They have really loaded up with left-handed hitters against Buchholz.
There's another one. Gardner last night 1 for 2 with a couple of sacrifice bunts. And the 0-1. Right through it.
That's the cut fastball from Buchholz to the outside part of the plate. So both pitches away from Brett Gardner. First 2. Now Holt can move back at third base with the bunt pretty much out of the pitcher.
Clay working with Sandy Leon behind that plate. Here comes the 0-2. And wrap foul. Baseball often a business of what have you done for me lately, and Clay has been very good lately. 4-0, a 3.09 ERA in his last 6 starts. He's had some big performances.
Yeah, that last outing against the Yankees went 6 innings in that game, giving up 2 earned runs.
He has really found some answers going back to the middle of August. Thought about it, did not offer, according to Kellogg.
There's a pitch right there that he's going to need tonight, that changeup. We mentioned about all the lefties in the lineup, and if he has that good changeup working down and away from the lefties, he should have some success. Turns this ball over, you can see it sink at the end, but Gardner is able to check the swing.
Ellsbury on deck. No score here in the first inning. You go back to August 18th in a game that Clay actually lost to Detroit. That was in the midst of that grueling road trip, but a very good start, and then he came back right after that and he beat Tampa Bay 2-1. And he said recently, I knew it wasn't going to be bad all year. I knew eventually I would figure out some things. And he was able to do it back to that date. Again, Gardner had a notion but held off it, now to count 3-2.
Yeah, again another changeup, so that's 2 he's thrown to Gardner in this at bat.
So the count full on the leadoff man. Gardner does have 16 stolen bases. And he walked him.
The Red Sox defense is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. They are up to 3rd in the league with 75 errors on the season. Brock Holt will be at third base. Andrew Bogarts the shortstop. Dustin Pedroia at second. And Hanley Ramirez the first baseman. Left to right, Andrew Benintendi, Jackie Bradley Jr. and Mookie Betts. And Sandy Leon doing the catching for Clay Buchholz.
Now it looks like the early edge of that front is already upon us, and with the wind and a little light rain, could get very interesting here tonight as Gardner is on, and again a threat to go. Ellsbury the batter, and Jacoby will take a strike. Ellsbury last night 2 for 4 with an RBI in game 1. Hitting .261, 9 homers, 55 RBIs.
Jacoby very tough to double up because of the fact that he runs so well. So to get a double play against him, you hope to get a ground ball with one of your middle infielders moving toward the bag.
The dangerous youngster Sanchez on deck. And the 0-1. Crack foul. Fans, be sure to stop by Plain Ridge Park Casino. Plain Ridge Park Casino is the official sponsor of winning. Sanchez just a terror right now.
A very, very dangerous guy in that Yankee lineup. What a couple of months he's put together.
Homered again last night, the very first inning. Gardner steps off the lead at first base. Nobody out. Off the fists and fouled back for a strike.
Exactly where they wanted that pitch too. Leone wanted the fastball. He wanted it upstairs and he wanted it in. But Ellsbury's able to fight it off and foul it off. There's a location of this fastball, trying to tail it back to the corner, and it gets Jacoby right about the label of the bat.
Gardner runs. There's a swing and a high pop-up foul. That's going to keep on cruising back out of play. And the wind pushes it even deeper into the stands. So Gardner was off to the races on that pitch. Jacoby, of course, had some very nice seasons with the Red Sox. One glorious year in 2011. Propelling him into the free agent market, and a big deal with the Yankees, a 7-year contract. Can't help but think that the Yankees are somewhat disappointed by the Ellsbury that they have had in pinstripes. Just the 9 home runs, 55 RBIs. 0-2 and a bounding ball. Hanley will get the out at first, throw down, going to need a tag. Bogaerts applies that, and that will be a double play. Hanley Ramirez very smoothly done there at first base to turn 2.
Well, I mentioned about middle infielders going towards second base. Also, this is another way to get the double play with the speed of Ellsbury. A ground ball right at Hanley. All he's got to do is catch the big hop, step on the bag, and then it becomes a tag play at second base, and it's there plenty of time to get Gardner. So they do get the double play on a guy that's tough to double up.
It has always been a friend of Clay Buchholz when he is pitching well. He gets a lot of double plays. Here's Sanchez now. Red Sox don't mind him coming to bat with the bases empty. 316, 20 home runs already. Last night, number 20 in just his 51st major league game.
Ball's supposed to be away. It stays inside, and that's don't want to leave it there to Gary Sanchez.
Matched Wally Berger of the 1930 Boston Braves as the fastest major leaguer to hit 20 home runs.
That's 2 curveballs right there that Buchholz should have had, and neither one has been called a strike.
Time for a twisted but true fact. Yesterday, Sanchez hitting his 20th home run in 51 games. Twisted tea, the hard iced tea that tastes like real iced tea. Be a little twisted. Now, Toronto has taken a 1-0 lead on Baltimore. They've moved to the second inning in Canada. They went for it there. 2-1.
Now, Red Sox have the shift on the left side of the infield. Dustin Pedroia over to the shortstop side, and see Bogaerts pulled over, and of course Brock Holt.
This kid's only played 51 major league games. He is in serious consideration for the American League Rookie of the Year. With the impact he had, that's in there for a strike. 2-2. Yankees very likely to finish out of the playoffs, but they were in it for several weeks, and he had so much to do with it. Buchholz trying to get him, and it's knocked foul back out of play.
After a number of breaking balls, he tries to elevate the fastball that time, but Sanchez able to foul it off. Wants to do it one more time. Elevate the fastball.
2-2. He got him. He struck him out with a high 92-mile-an-hour fastball. And Buchholz faces only 3 Yankees in the first inning. Park at the Film Festival at Fenway for the premiere of the David Ortiz era, which is being shown right now while the Red Sox are trying to clinch the pennant here in New York. We move on to the second inning. No score. Mookie Betts to lead it off against the rookie right-hander Brian Mitchell. Mookie saw his 12-game hitting streak come to an end last night as he went 0 for 4. He also added his MVP credentials with a terrific double play, that sliding catch that he made, and then from his back getting up, throwing the runner out at first base.
Yeah, slightly losing the ball in the light tower.
Doubled up Castro at first base, and that'll be inside for a ball.
That play we were talking about last night where I think he loses the ball for a while and then he goes into the dive right there. He can tell he's protecting against the light tower and then doubles up the runner at first base.
Flies this one to right, coming on Williams to one-handed. What's your gut telling you right now about MVP? We were talking about this a couple of weeks ago, and neither one of us had really focused on it too much. But what is your gut telling you now?
Well, you know, I think Mookie Betts is getting a lot of the publicity, and I do feel that, you know, all around, this guy probably will win it. I do think, though, there's going to be a lot of votes for David Ortiz. I really do believe that because of the type of year he's had. He's going out. He's going to the playoffs, you know, retiring after that. Very tough to tell. You know, it's hard to get into the mind of those who vote for it, obviously.
So, you know, that brings up the question is, will that split the Red Sox vote?
That's a good question, and it's an excellent question to ask, and it possibly could.
And maybe cost one of them the MVP. In for a strike, and Hanley hitting .289, 29 homers, 110 RBIs. He was 0 for 3 last night. No score in the second. Red Sox with a magic number of 1. A floater and caught by Castro. 2 down.
That ball got inside on Ramirez. A soft line drive to second base that time by Hanley. You'll see the fastball right here on the inside part of the plate, and it kind of jams Hanley a little bit. And that soft little line drive out to Castro for the second out of the inning.
Jackie Bradley will be next. He'll check in at .272 with 26 home runs, 87 RBIs, 1 for 3 last night. Mitchell looked like he was going to make the Yankees out of spring training. And then at the very end of spring training, he came up with a nasty toe injury. He stopped before releasing the pitch there. And he wound up missing the first 5 months of the season because of that.
Yeah, spent some time, a lot of time on rehab assignments into the bullpen and then finally into the starting rotation for the Yankees.
They called him up from their AAA affiliate on September 6th. Actually made his major league debut 2 years ago. The 0-1. 0-2 on Jackie.
Is that cut fastball again down and into Bradley. Now they switch Headley from the left side to the right side, up the middle.
Mitchell has dealt with a lot of injuries in a young career. Has very good stuff, but has had the injury bug, including taking a line drive off the face in August of last year. Game against Minnesota. Suffered a concussion and a fractured nose. Fly foul down the left field line and out of play by Jackie. Brock Holt on deck. Brock seeing more and more playing time as the regular third baseman here at the end of the season. 1-2 and a roller toward first, but a foul ball.
Just checking the scouting report on Mitchell. They said that, you know, when he really needs an out, a put away pitch, the curveball is the one that he likes to go to. That was a good curveball right there to Bradley, but he fouls it off.
Looked like Clay Buchholz's curveball fooled the home plate Tumpane a couple of times.
Yeah, he had 2 strikes with it, were not called strikes.
We see that more with good curveballs than any other pitch, I think. Line to right, Williams coming on and plays it on a bounce. And Jackie Bradley is on with the first Red Sox hit tonight, a single to right.
A sinking line drive that time. Once again, it was the curveball from Mitchell, but this time Bradley on it. And you see the curveball coming out of the hand, and he gets on top of it right there, and it's sinking as it heads out towards Mason Williams in right field. Actually, a pretty good play by Mason Williams. That ball gets by him, and Jackie might be still running.
Buchholz is hitting .265 with a career high 7 home runs and 34 driven in. 1 for 2 last night in the Red Sox defeat. Ball 1. And he has a little 4-game hit streak going. Looks like the stash is gone for Brock. He's made an adjustment. Shot to right. Williams there to make the play. That was the case last night. Red Sox early in the game hit a lot of line shots that were caught. This one's scoreless in the middle of the second. Bottom of the second inning, McCann in the box here, no score. Sox and the Yankees, game 2. Red Sox taking their second whack at clinching the pennant here tonight on Yankee soil. McCann just .239 with 19 homers, 56 runs batted in. He has lost the regular catching duties to Sanchez. So he's the DH. Snapped in there for a strike. McCann 4 for 11 lifetime against Clay Buchholz. Bogarts all alone on the left side, and the 1-1. Castro on deck, and then Gregorius for the Yankees.
Now with 2 strikes, Bogarts will move back deeper at his shortstop position. He was in on the grass previous to that.
2-2. And McCann came over from the Atlanta Braves and signed a major contract here. He immediately took a liking to Yankee Stadium. He has 68 home runs as a Yankee and 45 at this ballpark. That's in there for strike 3. 93 right on the black for the second strikeout for Clay tonight.
Well, that's also a very effective pitch for Buchholz to have tonight against these lefties. That two-seam fastball, the one he throws inside, and it comes back to the corner. The left-handed hitter gives up on that pitch. They think it's going to be inside. Little tail on it, picks up the corner.
The Geico Red Sox moment honoring the '86 Red Sox. Game number 158. The Red Sox would lose to the Yankees 6-1. Bruce Hurst took the defeat. He allowed 4 runs, 8 hits, striking out 5. 0-0 in this one, and here's Castro, the second baseman. That's a swing and a miss, hitting .273 with 21 home runs. He is 1 for 7 against Clay Buchholz in his career. He's had a very solid season with the 21 home runs for a second baseman. That's impressive. Ground ball toward third, but it is foul and scooped up by Brock Holt.
That little two-seam fastball, he also throws the right hand as he did just right there to Stalin Castro. That ball ran down and back in around his shin. Fouled off.
Toronto leading Baltimore 2-0 second inning. Blue Jays are playing some pretty good baseball. The 0-2. High fly into right center field, and there's Betts to put that away. Ace Ticket has playoff tickets on sale right now. Get your postseason tickets at no risk with full refund for any game not played. Visit aceticket.com for more details and to secure your Sox tickets now. Here's Gregorius, who had a good night last night. Went 3 for 4. He blasted a home run. He has hit 20 for the season with 69 runs batted in. Bases clean and 2 down. Clay Buchholz's last start was against the Orioles. A 5-1 win. He was outstanding. 7 innings, 3 hits, 1 run, struck out 4. And he was in total command.
And right now throwing the ball exactly where he wants to with just about all of his pitches. I know it's early, but it's always a good sign when Buchholz has the good control early in the ball game.
He brings home the 1-1. There's a high fly ball into right field. Betts is there and shy of the warning track. He's got it, and that's a 1-2-3 inning for Clay Buchholz. Brought to you by Coors Banquet. This is a great one. On this date in 1941, Ted Williams finished the season going 6 for 8 in a doubleheader against the Philadelphia Athletics. He ended up hitting .406, but finished second in the MVP voting, losing to Joe DiMaggio. Benintendi will take a strike. Of course, the story behind that is they gave Ted the option of sitting out the doubleheader because rounded up he was going to hit 400. And he said, I don't think so. And he went out and went 6 for 8. But he had walked the streets the entire night for hours the night before, thinking about it over and over. Should I sit it out? Should I not? And he came to the conclusion, nope, I'm not going to back into it. That's how he felt about it. And then got 6 hits. Benintendi hitting .322 with 2 homers, 14 driven in.
Now talk about 6. I was watching Benintendi take batting practice here this afternoon in Red Sox regular batting practice, and I counted them 6 straight out of the ballpark, and I mean they were crushed. See if it carries over into a game.
Well, not this time. In there for strike 3 as he is caught looking. First strikeout for Mitchell.
Mitchell going down and in with the fastball, and it's almost like Benintendi was looking for something other than that, because that was a pretty good pitch to hit. See the location of this pitch. Gets a lot of home plate.
At 95, pretty good velocity from the 25-year-old from North Carolina.
Yeah, he's been 95, 96. He's been 90 with the cut fastball.
Here's Sandy Leon at 314. And after going 0 for 3 last night, Sandy's now 1 for 21 on the trip. One down here in the 3rd inning. No score at Yankee Stadium. See if Sandy can get it going again. Maybe it starts with the Yankees, because he's hitting .344 against them this season. 11 for 32 against New York. That's in there for a called strike. Again, 95, and that was off the plate.
That was well off the plate. That's not a pitch you want to swing at on a 2-0 count.
Two 1 home and lashed foul. DraftKings is the official one-day fantasy baseball partner of the Boston Red Sox. You can experience the thrill of playing on DraftKings right now. Play free daily using the promo code NESSON at DraftKings.com. Dustin Pedroia on deck. So far the Red Sox with 1 hit against Mitchell. Pouring in fastballs, but that one missed. And the 3-2 from the righty. Poke foul.
Well, he has not seen a pitch on the inside part of the plate yet. Everything has been away from Leon. You see on the chart where the pitches are located, everything away.
And a lot of hard stuff. 3-2 again. And that's inside again with a fastball, but he missed with it. So Sandy is aboard with the walk. And Pedroia coming up. It's Winning Wednesday, and if the Red Sox win, Plain Ridge Park Casino will donate $777 to the Relay for Life of Greater Attleboro. And if the Sox win, they win the division. Would be victory number 93 for Boston. Dustin 0 for 1. He's grounded to second. Hit sharply. Castro to Gregorius. 1 on to first. 2. Double play. That retires the side. That's all for the Red Sox. Still no score at Yankee Stadium.
Welcome back to Red Sox baseball on NESN, and it's the bottom of the third. We're scoreless here at Yankee Stadium. I'm Garen Austin. Hello, everyone. Drew Pomeranz spoke to the media today and said he is disappointed. He said there is soreness in his forearm and he was not able to recover after his last start. He said at this point in the season, this is a spot that he's never been in before. John Farrell said the first course of action will be for him to throw a bullpen tomorrow, and they'll see how he comes out of that before mapping out a relief appearance for him over the weekend. OB Jerry Farrell also said that Stephen Wright will throw a bullpen at Fenway this Friday.
Well, that should be very interesting. Thank you, Garen. Of course, Pomeranz has worked out of the bullpen in his career in the past, so that's not foreign to him. Teixeira, the hitter here. We have no score in the third inning.
When you think ahead to the playoffs, Dave, and we kind of figured that Pomeranz, if healthy, would probably be one of the left-handers out of the bullpen.
Right. Health now a question for Drew. Teixeira hitting just .204 in his final year with 14 home runs. And a ground ball to the right side into the shift. It's Brock Holt to throw him out. So that play officially a 5-3. That is a quiet retirement, isn't it, for Mark Teixeira?
Yeah, we're talking about that before we came on air, and this guy's had a wonderful career. There's no question about that, but not a huge story here in New York. And guy's been a terrific player. He really has.
400 home runs. He's been a 5-time Gold Glover. Still one of the better defensive first basemen in the league, even now. 36 years old, but going out very quietly. Strike on Chase Headley, third baseman at .252 with 14 home runs. Some guys end with a lot more noise, as certainly going to be the case with David Ortiz, who's had a spectacular career. Teixeira's had an outstanding career. Nothing in the third. Toronto in the third inning continues to lead Baltimore 2-0. And a 1-1 pitch from Clay Buchholz. Toward the alley, but on the move, Jackie Browning coming in on a sinking line drive, and he has that for the second out. Sox fans looking for the best tickets to David Ortiz's final regular season games at Fenway will check out the official Red Sox ticket resale marketplace at RedSoxReplay.com. It's the best place for season ticket holders to sell their tickets when they can't make it to the game.
Patriots fans, Red Sox fans, all over Yankee Stadium.
Frankly, everywhere we have gone on this road trip, that's been the case. To get another glimpse, a final glimpse in many of these cases of Big Papi. Here's the right fielder Mason Williams. Speaking of the Patriots, his dad Derwin was a wide receiver for the Pats between 1985 and 1987. Williams has good speed. He's a terrific athlete. He's also 2 for 2 against Clay Buchholz, and Joe Girardi said before the game that's why he's playing him tonight.
And he gets another left-handed bat in the lineup.
So far, Clay has been very sharp. He is not allowed to hit. Did walk the leadoff man Gardner, but then got the double play out of Jacoby Ellsbury. Sox will have due up come the fourth inning. Bogarts, Ortiz, and Betts. Their second look at Mitchell. Roll foul. Buchholz with 18 career starts against the Yankees. He's 6-9, an ERA of 5.99. Last time he saw them, he beat them on September 16th at Fenway. Won that game 7-4. Looking for a 1-2-3 third. The 1-2. And just got a piece of it.
Back-to-back change-ups, and both very good. The third and fourth pitch you can see at the bottom of the strike zone, and actually the last one out of the strike zone. But fouled off by Mason Williams.
We've been watching Clay for a long time. Both of us have. And when he's got the changeup dancing early, it's an excellent sign. He gets swings and misses on that. 1-2 downstairs.
Tries it again. That's 3 straight.
Gardner on deck. Williams has swung a good bat at the big league level. He's 8 for 21 with no homers. And that just missed. He did not get the call from Tumpane.
It goes change up again. This time it goes to the upper part of the strike zone. And once again, a pitch that appears to be a strike is not called a strike. That's not where Buchholz wants that. But still within the strike zone.
You saw the home plate umpire glance toward the Red Sox dugout after that was called a ball. I think somebody barked something. The 3-2. And that's in there. The fastball gets him for strike 3. And Buchholz sails through the 3rd inning. Legendary career by downloading NESN's free interactive collection of his greatest moments. From on-field milestones and postseason heroics to off-the-field fun, including appearances on late-night shows and Saturday Night Live. Go to NESN.com/Ortiz34. He's done the Seth Meyers show since he's been in New York. Late-night TV.
He has been very, very busy.
No score to the 4th inning, and Xander Bogaerts getting his second look at Mitchell. He's 0 for 1 with a little trickler out in front of home plate. Xander had one of his finest nights recently last night, going 3 for 5 with a double. Rounded to the middle, but Castro is there from the second base spot to throw him out. So 1 away in the 4th. Ortiz's final regular season stop, of course, is only on NESN. 3 days of nonstop celebrating at Fenway. Don't miss a minute. Red Sox and the Blue Jays Friday through Sunday on NESN, presented by buyatoyota.com, Toyota's official website for deals. David ripped a line drive that Ellsbury caught deep in center field in the 1st inning, so he's 0 for 1. Last night notwithstanding, he's had an excellent trip. 3 homers, 8 RBIs in 8 games, and he pops a foul out of play.
tell you, it's been early in the ball game, but we've seen some questionable calls behind home plate. That first pitch to David Ortiz looked like he had a lot of the plate, but not called a strike. You could easily be 0-2 right now.
Instead, the 1-1 from Mitchell. David with a vicious swing and rips the foul back to the net.
That's a pretty good spot against Ortiz. That's a cut fastball like it's in on his hands. Up and in to Ortiz, and he fouls it straight back.
He was trying to go downtown with that one. David now 37 homers. 1-2 miss despite the raw conditions. Some of the superstars are out. Zac Efron is here tonight in sunglasses. Jerry, why is he wearing sunglasses?
I really don't know. I guess because he's a big star.
2-2. Swing and a miss. Ortiz down on strikes, and Big Papi's 0 for 2 tonight.
Yeah, first curveball that he saw on that at bat, and no contact from Ortiz. Seen a lot of breaking pitches in the first couple of games of this series. That's the pitch we talked about that Mitchell likes to go to the curveball.
So 2 away, Mookie Betts 0 for 1, a fly to right field for Mookie. Mookie without a hit last night. That also saw his 38-game road on base streak come to an end. One of the longer ones in Red Sox history. And a 1-0 sinks in there for a strike. Now the Red Sox saw Brian Mitchell recently at Fenway. There was a 6-5 loss at Fenway, which he went 4 2/3, 5 hits. He's been sharper tonight, and now he's in front on Mookie Betts.
Yeah, without question, Dave, his stuff is much better tonight. That's that cut fastball right there, and right on the outside part of the plate. Good pitch.
Two down, bases clean. No score in the 4th. And the 1-2 got jammed. Gregorius will dig that, and that's all for the Red Sox. 1-2-3 here in the 4th inning. Dining Playbook Saturday morning at 9, and Ness and Billy will be hosting a tailgate at Gillette Stadium. Dining playbook at Nesson, driven by New England Chevy dealers. Both starting pitchers have been very good. We've only had one hit in the game, and the Sox have that as we go to the last half of the fourth.
If I was Brett Gardner, I'd probably be thinking about bunting, try to change momentum in this game, get something going.
He took a walk to start it for the Yankees, and he is their only base runner. He's .250 lifetime against Clay, 8 for 32.
Brock Holt in tight at third base, and of course, as we mentioned many times, Pedroia handles the drag bunt down the first base line.
1-1. Ellsbury on deck, then Gary Sanchez. And a 1-1 from the right-hander from Texas. He drops it in there for a strike.
A lot of curveballs early in this ball game. Curveballs and changeups from Buchholz against his left-handed hitting lineup.
And Clay admitted when things were going bad for him in the first half of the season, he was over-analyzing everything. Going to that stretch once he went to the bullpen really simplified a lot for him. He misses outside, 2-2.
That's what happens when you struggle, whether you be pitcher, hitter, when you're having a difficult time, you're listening to everybody give you information, they're trying to help you out, you get confused. It's awful tough to get out of the rut.
The 2-2 to Gardner. Little roller toward third. Gonna be a tough play for Brock Holt, and off his fingertips. So it'll be a base hit for Gardner. And you knew at the crack of the bat that was going to be a lot of trouble.
Yeah, that was almost like a bunt, right down the third base line. Big swing and not much action, but good enough for a base hit. Right toward the end of the bat, I think it surprised Gardner how he hit it. And that's really the only chance. And even with the clean bare hand there, Holt's got really no chance at Gardner at first base.
So that'll be their first hit of the night against Clay Buchholz. With Ellsbury next, he hit into a double play his first time up. His stats pretty close to what they were last year. And the first one to Ellsbury, he pops that one up. Ramirez along with Holt, he stumbles and Ramirez makes the play. Boy, Brock Holt stumbling coming across the hill.
That happens a lot to infielders. You know, they're so focused on the pop-up in the infield that all of a sudden the mound creeps up on you and you start going uphill. That's exactly what happened there to Brock Holt. And then he kind of gave way a little bit because Ramirez had called for it.
One man gone. Sanchez now. He struck out first time up. 20 homers, 42 RBIs. He's done all of that damage in 51 games. He had never hit more than 18 in the minors. And even he thinks this is surprising that he's shown this kind of power, this much home run production at the major league level. He's only played about a third of the season as he looks at ball one.
I think what we saw in his first at bat may be a sign of things to come once they get ahead of him, get him try to chase something up in the zone or out of the zone. That's how he struck out back in the first inning. Problem has been getting the 2 strikes against him.
Gardner at first base with 1 down. Sanchez should get serious consideration for the Rookie of the Year. Right now, you got to believe the favorite to win it is Michael Fulmer, the Tigers pitcher, who's 11-7, has the lowest ERA in the American League right now, 2.95. Scoreless here in the 4th inning, and the 1-0 pitch. 2-0.
Tried to turn that fastball over to get a ground ball. Trying to induce a ground ball in a double play.
The Yankees signed Sanchez from the Dominican Republic in 2009 for a $3 million bonus. As a young minor leaguer, he was often ranked first or second among all their prospects. So they have always believed he was going to hit for power as a major leaguer. Maybe not quite like this. The 2-0, and that drifted away. Now 3 balls, no strikes.
You better be careful here because he may have the green light here. 3-0.
McCann on deck. And Buchholz 3-0. Swinging a high towering fly, but fouled on the left field line. Well, he hits him high.
That's what we're talking about. You know, the way he's swinging the bat, the way he's hitting for power, you got to let guys like that loose on 3-0. They wanted to go away even on the 3-0 count. You see where Leon set up, and that ball stayed inside. That was similar to the pitch that he hit out on Price last night, but he was way out in front of this one. Maybe a little bit over anxious on the 3-0 count.
So the 3-1 from the right-handed Buchholz. That's a strike. And a full count.
Goes to the curveball on the 3-1 count that time. See if they send Gardner at first base. 3-2, 1 out.
Huge hole there on the right side. He's running, and it's fouled back. So indeed he was in motion. Sanchez was a top-rated prospect in the minor leagues, but he was also punished for insubordination more than once. One time in the minor leagues, he wasn't starting at catcher. They asked him to go warm up the pitcher, and he refused to do it. One time they sent him to extended spring training. He was accused oftentimes of not working hard enough. His whole attitude seemed to change when he became a dad. A little baby girl in 2014, and he grew up. Three balls and 2 strikes on Sanchez. He has emerged as a star here as a rookie. One away and 1 on, and the 3-2. And again, back in Gardner. They're now in the last half of the 4th inning at Toronto. Blue Jays 2 and the Orioles nothing. Buchholz looking for another double play ball here. Payoff pitch, runner goes, and a chopper to Xander Bogaerts. He's going to have to go to first base because they started the runner and gets him, and Gardner safely to second with 2 down. Don't miss WB Mason Extra Innings Live right after the game. TC, Dennis Eckersley, and Steve Lyons will break it all down. You'll hear from Clay Buchholz and John Farrell too. Whatever, whenever, wherever, who but WB Mason. And should the Red Sox clinch the division tonight, the post-game show will have complete coverage of the celebration. Sox need to win, or Toronto needs to lose for that to happen. Here's McCann. He struck out looking in the second. 0 for 1 tonight. Here's a pop-up. Here's Leon. Here comes Holt. Holt's still coming. Leon makes the play. As Brock Holt went sliding right on past him. So 1 man is left. Still 0-0. Going on right now. Both of the David Ortiz films are being played at Fenway tonight. Almost looks like a drive-in theater, doesn't it? You remember drive-in theater?
Oh, absolutely. Take that big clunker off the side, put it in your window, and
scratch the heck out of your window. Popcorn. Get your date with you, watching. It's always at least 2 movies, right? Sometimes 3. Great stuff. You and I are both ancient. The fact that we can even remember that. Andy Ramirez starting the 5th inning. No score here at Yankee Stadium. You'd always go to the concession stand in between films, right? That's when you load it up.
Yeah.
on popcorn.
I'm going to stop.
You know what I meant.
I know.
Jackie Bradley on deck, and up top for a ball on Hanley. 29 homers. So the next one will give the Red Sox 3 men with 30 homers and 100 RBIs for the first time in franchise history in the same season. The 3-0 taking all the way, and that missed for ball 4. So the Red Sox have the leadoff man on in the 5th. And it'll send up Jackie Bradley, who has one of the 2 hits in this game. Base hit in the 2nd. Jackie now has reached base in 12 consecutive games. He was 1 for 3 last night. In there for strike 1. Yankees have been a good opponent for Jackie. Sitting .358 against them this season. Hanley off first in the 0-1. Up and in. They just get the feeling here tonight in the 5th inning, a 0-0 game. It will not take much in the run column. Kind of a raw night and a wet evening. Here's the 1-1 from the righty.
And Butterfield looking in a dugout for signs. Gets a set of signs, puts them down to both Hanley Ramirez and Jackie Bradley. Shift on in the infield. That means that Castro on a ground ball at third base would become the pivot man.
And Mitchell stepping off the rubber, going to the rosin bag. Brock Holt on deck. And the rookie Mitchell will go to first base, and back in easily Hanley Ramirez. Red Sox season ticket holders, you can experience the best seats, price, and benefits Fenway has to offer. For information on becoming a season ticket holder, please visit redsox.com/season tickets or call 877-RED SOX 9 today. Fouled back on a healthy cut there by Jackie. He has enjoyed a really fine season with 26 homers, 87 runs batted in, his first All-Star appearance. Any conversation about the center field Gold Glove, and he's in it. Two runner goes. That is outside. Throw down to second to tag, and he is out. Pitch outside for ball 3, but Hanley Ramirez cut down at second.
Now a little bit of a surprise there with Bradley at the plate. Hanley does have 9 steals, but an excellent throw by Sanchez. Not a real great jump. You see Hanley looking back in. It's not a hit and run. Red Sox are looking at that and see if the tag was on before the foot hit the bag. Was it?
Ooh.
He might be safe.
He may be. This should be challenged.
Yeah, I think John Farrell may challenge this. Let's take a look from another angle. They are going to look at it.
So this one's under review. That was Headley, the third baseman, taking the tag. Looked like the foot may have come off, though.
Oh, yeah. I see that, Dave. That's a great point. The foot might have come off the bag, as you can see right here. Watch the left foot come up off the bag, and the tag, I believe, from Headley was still on.
Now, the question for me is, did that back foot then make contact with the bag?
The initial pot looks like he's safe, but right here, when the foot comes off, the tag is still on. And, you know, did he have the back leg on the bag? I think that's the question they're going to be looking, what they're going to be looking for right now, because I think the first pot looks like Ramirez is in there.
Oh, there, and there it is. That foot may have come off the bag. That back foot then, meaning he came off the bag twice as Headley continued to apply that tag. That's been a major shift in baseball the last several years. The teaching of infielders to keep that glove on at all times.
You know, you're absolutely right, and especially since replay has been put in, because without replay, there would be no challenge on a play like that.
It's going to be very interesting.
They'd have made the out call and it would have stayed that way.
Yeah, no question.
Used to drive me crazy too when the ball, if you made a good slide and the ball beat you to the bag, you were out automatically.
You look at there, his foot has come off the base and the tag is on the foot. So if they go by that, they're going to keep it as an out call, and indeed it is.
I think they make the right call there.
Yep, I agree. So the count is 3-2 on Jackie Bradley. Caught stealing for Hanley Ramirez at second. No score in the fifth. Long wait for Mitchell on the 3-2. And outside for ball four. So he's walked the first two men in this inning. But only one man aboard now. Brock Holt coming up.
Now this is the kind of guy that you can put a play on with Brock Holt. You don't want to hit run with a guy like Jackie Bradley Jr. But Brock Holt's a different story.
But you made an interesting point too when Hanley on the replay looked in halfway down to second base. A lot of us are like, well, when he looks in, there's got to be a play on. There's got to be a hit run on.
No play on there. Not with Jackie Bradley at the plate. That's just a straight out steal.
Brock is 0 for 1. He is lined out to right. He's hit safely in his last 8 games at Yankee Stadium, hitting .320.
See Ruben Amaro, the first base coach. I mean, he looks at the signs too, and he makes sure that the runner at first base has him by going up and whispering in his ear what was given by Butterfield at third base, just to make sure.
He's taking off. He got a great jump. Here's the throw. It's not a good one, and he's in there at second base. He got a tremendous jump.
Yeah, he really did. And, you know, there was no hit and run there because Holt did not swing the bat. So the Red Sox, they have to feel that they can get a good jump. And that was a great jump by Bradley. I mean, he timed it perfectly.
Well, this is a night where this could make all the difference. A play like that. This feels like it's going to be very tough to score. 9th stolen base for Jackie, who has stolen successfully 22 times out of 24 attempts in his career.
Yeah, a little meeting right now too at the mound because he's walked 2 guys in this inning and he's fallen behind Holt 2 balls and no strikes.
Larry Rothschild, longtime pitching coach, out to the hill.
And what the Red Sox are doing is they're trying to rattle him a little bit by sending some base runners.
Well, 2-0 on Brock Holt, who has a 4-game hit streak. If he can make it 5 right here, the Red Sox might be able to take the lead in the 5th inning. And a 2-0 home. And that misses. Right now, he's all over the place.
Yeah, he can't find the strike zone right now. All of a sudden, I mean, he was all over the strike zone in the first 4 innings.
Benintendi on deck. Bradley at second, and the 3-0. Taking all the way, and that's a strike. Mitchell likes his fastball. He's had a good one tonight, 94 to 96 on the radar gun. And a hitter's count for Brock Holt. Here's the 3-1 home. And that is up high for ball 4. He's walked 3 in a row.
Well, this is an inning the Red Sox have to do some damage. When you get a starting pitcher out there that's walked 3 guys in a row, you've got to put something on the board.
Capital One Frozen Fenway returns to Boston in January of 2017. Fans can enjoy 2 exciting outdoor Hockey East doubleheaders on the 7th and 14th of January. Tickets are on sale now. Visit redsox.com/frozenfenway for more information. Benintendi now. He struck out looking in the 3rd inning. We were watching him drive the ball in batting practice.
It was quite a show. It really was.
And he pops that one up into foul ground. Teixeira will make the play. The infield fly rule in effect. So that is out number 2. Back to the studio for an update. Here's TC. Tom, thanks. Looks like another huge crowd there at Rogers Center. Here at Yankee Stadium, not quite as big and boisterous, but the Red Sox are threatening with runners at first and second and 2 down, and Sandy Leon the hitter. And Brian Mitchell has walked 3 consecutive batters.
See, that's why I was a little bit surprised that Benintendi swung at the first pitch.
Leon walked his first time, and he grounds this one to the second baseman Castro, and the Yankees get out of the inning. And for the Red Sox, a frustrating inning because he was wild. The Red Sox did not take advantage. Baseball on Nesson is brought to you by the great folks at Sullivan Tire and Complete Auto Service. Bob's Discount Furniture. Everybody saves at Bob's Discount Furniture. In store at mybobs.com. in by Lexus and the Lexus Strikes Out Hunger program. Jerry Remy, Dave O'Brien, and Garrett Austin would hit. Buchholz with no run support yet, although he's been very, very tough out there. No score as we go to the bottom of the fifth. And taking on Starlin Castro here, who hits a sharp grounder. It caroms to Bogaerts. He has it, throws, and gets it. Just a typical 5-6-3. You see that every day.
Yeah, you see him practice that in spring training all the time, right? 5-6-3. Where that ball hit Brock Holt.
That stung him.
But it looked like it was right in the wrist. Yeah, ball bounced up and it looks like it got him right on the wrist, and then it bounced right to Bogaerts. Bogaerts paying attention, which was a good thing, and was able to get the ball, and he knew because the ball was hit hard he still had time to get the out at first base.
Now some attention. Brad Pearson, the trainer, out with John Farrell to see if Brock can continue here. And he will shake that off.
Holding that wrist area right now.
And the Red Sox had a golden chance in the top of this inning as Brian Mitchell could not find the plate, walked 3 men in a row, and Benintendi popped it up.
Yeah, that surprised me. You know, that to me, when the guys walk 3 guys in a row, you got to make them throw a strike at least one. You don't want to help them out at all.
A strike on Gregorius. He's 0 for 1. He's flat out to right. In times like that, you remember that Benintendi's a rookie. Still very, very young. The 0-1 pitch to Gregorius.
It's really a hard thing, you know, because there's 2 ways of thinking about it. First of all, well, he's walked 3 in a row. He's got to come in with a strike. That's what you're thinking as a hitter. But realistically, when a guy's walked 3 in a row, you maybe may make him, you know, throw 1 strike.
No. Or let him walk 4.
Exactly.
2-1. Teixeira on deck. Mark Teixeira about to say goodbye to baseball at the age of 36. Native of Greenwich, Connecticut. Brock Holt still flexing that hand, that wrist. 2-1. Waved at and missed. That one really disappeared.
That's a very good curveball there by Buchholz. Good shot curveball down out of the strike zone. Starts it off low and it finishes in the dirt.
Nasty one. Buchholz with 3 strikeouts. And a 2-2. Fills up the count on D.D. Gregorius.
Tried that 2-seamer inside. That comes back to the plate, but not that time. Too low.
Buchholz has walked only 1 man. That was the first man he faced tonight.
Back inside with the fastball.
Hammered foul. Sox have 1 more left here in New York after tonight. Hoping it means absolutely nothing as far as the standings are concerned, and then home for the last 3 of the regular season against Toronto. 3-2. Tap softly. Pedroia to charge that. He's got time. And he got him at first base.
Wow, that was close.
A little closer than maybe he expected.
Yeah, that ball was not hit very hard at all, and Pedroia had to rush that to get it to first base. Stretched by Hanley Ramirez. They clearly get him, but it was a lot closer than we thought it was going to be.
The most popular way to follow the Red Sox is with MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball. Enjoy game day, live game video, and more. Get MLB.com at bat on your favorite devices right now. 2 down, bottom of the 5th. No score at Yankee Stadium. Teixeira, the hitter, 0 for 1. as he is grounded to third. And he tops one foul. Teixeira was very nearly a member of the Boston Red Sox. Sox drafted him back in 2009, and he didn't sign because of a fallout with the scout who drafted him, who he felt had disrespected his father, who was a Navy pilot. In fact, his dad actually played high school baseball with Bucky Dent. So Teixeira may have been destined to become a Yankee. Though he played for several other clubs too. The 1-1 he tried to check, and he went. Swing and a miss to make it 1-2.
You look at his numbers in his career against Buchholz, only 161, but he does have a couple of career home runs.
Now Buchholz trying to get him 1-2-3 for the third time tonight. Chase Headley on deck. And a 2-2 to the switch hitting Teixeira. Down he goes, strike three. Buchholz gets him in order. Still no score. Line brought to you by your Eastern Lexus dealers. Last inning he walked 3 consecutive batters. The Red Sox did not capitalize. And generally he's been quite tough tonight, allowing just the one hit. Jackie Bradley's single in the second inning. Top of the order for the Sox. As we go to the 6th, it's 0-0. Breaking ball in it for a strike on Pedroia, who has grounded to second and grounded into a double play. Petey starting tonight 3 hits shy of 200. Trying to reach that for the second time in his career. Lined right to Teixeira for a fast out. One away in the 6th.
We've seen a lot of that in the first couple of games of this series. You know, balls hit that pretty well by Red Sox hitters, but not finding any green grass.
Bogart's next, 0 for 2 tonight. And among the Red Sox 1 through 5 hitters, the only man who has reached first base is Hanley Ramirez, taking ball 4. Xander last night had the 20th three-hit game of his season. The Red Sox last players to do that in a season were Jacoby Ellsbury and Adrian Gonzalez in 2011. As many as 20 three-hit games. A strike. Trying to get on in front of David Ortiz on deck. Chop foul.
That was a little bit of a hang of that time from Mitchell. For the most part, he's had a very good curveball tonight, but that one hung up just a little bit, but fouled off by Bogaerts.
One two now from Mitchell. To the shortstop, Gregorius. 2 up, 2 down in the 6th. Now available your official Big Papi translucent last game half scale bat for only $69.95. It's a unique item limited to only 5,000 bats. Call Big Time Bats at 866-280-BATS or go to BigTimeBats.com right now. And the bases are empty for David here in the 6th inning. He has lined deep to center field and struck out. And Mitchell home on the 1-0 pitch. He takes a ball. Joe Girardi's been saying the last couple of days, I can't believe he's retiring with the season he has put up here. But he said, I'm going to encourage him to pursue it. And the count goes to 3-0.
I would give David the green light, and I think he probably has it on the 3-0 count, and he may not get a fastball here. 3 balls and no strikes. Each side with just 1 hit so far. The 3-0 fouled it back. 95-mile-an-hour fastball. He got it. And did you see where the catcher Sanchez was setting up? He was actually setting up for a ball way out of the strike zone. Watch the catcher Sanchez 3-0. Watch where he goes. I mean, he's in the right hand to hit his batter's box. And that pitch leaked a little bit.
3-1. Fouled away. Mookie Betts would be next. The 3-2 to David. High fly to center field, but this one hangs up into the mist. Ellsbury coming in fact. And that will retire the side. Big Papi 0 for 3 tonight. The Red Sox go 1-2-3. There's a reason why the Red Sox and the rest of America run on Dunkin', because Dunkin' iced coffee is consistently smooth and delicious. Dunkin' Donuts coffee, the #1 coffee in New England. The Boston Red Sox run on Dunkin'. No score last half of the 6th inning. And Headley, the batter, 0 for 1 tonight with a fly to center. That'll be Williams, the #9 man, and Gardner, the leadoff hitter. Up top for a ball on Headley, who has decent power with the 14 homers. In this ballpark, you would think that Headley might be able to recapture some of the ability he showed 4 years ago in San Diego when he hit 31 and he drove in 115. But since then, his best RBI season has been 62 last year. Williams on deck. Sox have 1 hit. The Yankees have 1 hit. And a 1-2 is high.
Tried that two-seam fastball again, but a little bit too high as he tried to run it back to the corner. See this ball tail back, but it's way too high in the zone, or out of the zone, I should say.
Plays 2-2. Ground ball on 1 hop, and Ramirez takes that. Another fine play. He's made a couple of those tonight and gets to the bag in plenty of time for the first out. Hey, happy birthday to one of the best in the business and our award-winning director, Mike Narachi. He got it right here on the big board at Yankee Stadium. Happy birthday, Mike. How old is Mike?
Mike's only about 40. I don't know. He's hard to read. Happy birthday, Mike.
He looks so young. You know, Mike's running all the time. He's in great shape. 54, actually. Here's Williams. He struck out looking in the 3rd inning, 0 for 1. Left-hand hitter from Rhode Island. And the 0-1 from Clay Buchholz. Foul tipped. In the last half of the 6th inning, and Toronto leads Baltimore 2-0. So in the games that Red Sox fans care about tonight, certainly care a great deal about, low scoring affairs. At Toronto and here at Yankee Stadium.
Buchholz shaking off a lot of pitches, wants to cut fastball away.
1-2. This is typically a very good time of the year for Clay Buchholz. In September and October, 16 wins, 12 losses, and ERA about 3.5. And trying to pitch the Red Sox to the pennant tonight. One-two to Williams is knocked foul, back out of play.
And a couple of times tonight, 3 or 4 times, where Buchholz has made a pitch and then looked back at his landing area, almost like he slipped a little bit.
The skies have never opened up. It's just been consistently misty all night. Looking to strike out Williams for the 2nd time, and he does. He puts him away. 2 down.
Well, we kind of talked about it at the beginning of this game. Against this lineup tonight, all the lefties that get up there, Buchholz needs the good changeup, and for the most part tonight, he's had a very good changeup. He gets him to chase that one. He struck him out twice, once on a fastball, once on a changeup.
So 2 away. He has set down 8 straight. Last man to reach against him was this man, Brett Gardner, with an infield single in the 4th. He's also taken ball 4. In fact, he is the only Yankee who has reached base tonight against Clay. Checked his swing, and that'll miss for ball 1.
And Buchholz starts him off with a changeup.
It's one of the things I thought was missing with David Price's performance last night. Not a lot of changeups.
No, not at all. Not in that game last night. Just a few. And we mentioned last night he had trouble controlling, well, locating, I should say, almost every one of his pitches.
He had won 8 in a row before taking the loss last night. That's in there for a called strike. And in most of those wins, you said, wow, he's got a dynamite changeup.
Yeah, it's going to be tough, for a pitcher to go out there and can't find, 1 or 2 pitches that you feel comfortable with. And I just kind of had that feeling last night with David Price that he was fighting it all the way through.
Gave up 12 hits. Only walked a couple of men, but 12 hits and 3 home runs. It was not his night. Here's the 1-1 to Gardner. 2 balls, 1 strike. Ellsbury would be next. Sox trying to end it tonight and win the American League East. Saw the end of the 11-game winning streak last night, which propelled them to a healthy lead in the division. Right now 5 games over Toronto. Three and 1.
Another good curveball, not called a strike, right at the bottom of the strike zone.
What do you think? Do umpires just give up on it?
I don't know, but he's had a very inconsistent call with that pitch tonight.
I think a lot of umpires don't wait long enough to see it land in the strike zone. They think it's going to be underneath. And that fastball is in there for a strike, or did it? Is it ball 4? That's ball 4. Now, there was some confusion over that. Finally, Gardner will take his base. John Farrell had no idea either.
Yeah, I think the Red Sox dugouts had about enough. Sometimes it's the presentation, and you can see how Leon caught that ball. Gardner had no idea. He thought it might have been a strike.
It was very strange the way Tom Paine brought up his right hand.
Yeah,
I thought he was ringing him up initially, but he was saying 4. So Gardner's on for the 3rd time, and here's Ellsbury, who's hit into a double play and popped up to first. And again, Gardner's the only man to get on base tonight for the Yankees.
Yeah, I think you got to try to go if you're Brett Gardner too. You're in a nothing ball game. I mean, you got to try to get in a scoring position.
Now Carl Willis on the horn. That bullpen starting to move around. Ellsbury without a lot of luck against his former teammate. He is 2 for 14 against Clay. Scoreless here in the 6th inning. Buchholz very deliberate. Waved at and missed.
Ellsbury having a tough time with that breaking ball. Curveball on the inside part of the plate, down.
Sanchez on deck. The Red Sox want to leave him right there. 2 men away. And the 1-1. Runner goes. Swinging a high fly foul on a play.
You could tell Gardner was going, if we get a shot of his lead, you're going to see him leaning towards second base. He was really giving it away, in my opinion. Now watch him start to lean. See all that weight on his right foot? He also takes a peek back, which is really a habit you don't like to get into if you're stealing a base.
Bullpen really active all of a sudden. Scott and Ziegler side by side for the Red Sox. Clay Buchholz tossing a one-hitter at the moment. And now the 1-2 pitch to Jacoby Ellsbury. Runner holding. And stopped by Sandy Leon. No advance by the runner.
Nice block by Leon, expecting the change up, expecting it to be down low in the zone, and it's a good job having that ball bounce off him and come back in front of home plate. That's going to hold guard to keep him out of scoring position.
Sox in the 7th inning have due up Betts, Ramirez, Bradley. And Clay with the set and the 2-2. Swung on and missed. He got him. Really got him to go fishing too on a pitch underneath the strike zone. One man left. Sox first pitch presented by Joseph Abboud. Available at Men's Warehouse. Mo Vaughn will be in studio with TC, Dennis Eckersley, and Steve Lyons to talk about David Ortiz's career. Should be a lot of fun tomorrow. Well, this one goes to the 7th inning. Still nothing Sox and Yankees. Mookie Betts with his 3rd look at Mitchell. Mookie tonight has flied to right and grounded out to short. Then it's Hanley Ramirez. Then Jackie Bradley trying to do something with the 25-year-old who has allowed just 1 hit. And that was from Jackie Bradley. That one stoked down the line, ripped into the corner, but he hooked it too much. And a foul ball.
Trying to sneak that fastball again inside to Mookie Betts, and that time he cleaned it out, but in foul territory. He got inside 1 time tonight on Betts. Want to go up and in again.
0-2.
Whoa, misfire right there.
We saw him do that a lot in the 5th inning, didn't we? We walked 3 in a row. He walked Ramirez, Bradley, and Holt. Hanley Ramirez was caught stealing. That was a good chance. Here comes the 1-2. And a liner to left field. They'll settle down for a base hit. Promising start for the Red Sox here in the 7th inning. Mookie Betts is aboard.
Yeah, a couple of times now tonight they've had the leadoff man on. They did in the 5th inning with a walk to Hanley Ramirez. Now a breaking ball, a curveball, taking for the line drive base hit by Betts.
Warren and Tommy Lane throwing side by side in the bullpen.
Well, the Red Sox have showed a indication that they want to run on Mitchell. Let's see if Betts does in this at bat with Ramirez at the plate.
Andy Ramirez has lined out to the second baseman. He's also walked and been caught stealing.
Another throw to first base.
26 stolen bases for Mookie.
You see the catcher give the sign where he kind of flips the thumb. That means they want to throw to first base.
Pop foul out of play to the right. Hanley has hit 10 home runs this month. Joining David Ortiz, Tony Canigliaro, and Jimmy Fox is the only Red Sox to hit as many as 10 in the month of September. Leadoff man on and back in again on the dive. Mookie Betts.
Again, you can see the difference in the leads when Gardner was at first base and Betts. Betts has a much bigger lead, much more comfortable getting the bigger lead and the ability to get back to the bag.
And downstairs for a ball. Mitchell home of the 1-1. Runner holding. And a high fly ball into right center field, but Ellsbury covering that ground along with Williams, and Williams will take it. So one man gone. Jackie Bradley due up next. Jackie on the night with a single and a walk. He's also stolen a base. And again, since the get-go tonight, really from the very first pitch on, we've seen a steady mist, which has never really let up for very long.
Kind of a dank night here in the Big Apple.
Now they are convinced that Mookie Betts is thinking about running.
So am I.
Mookie a little longer lead and again has to get back in.
And he really has no problem. I mean, he's reading, the pickoff attempt very, very well. So he can get himself a very big lead.
Brock Holt, the on-deck hitter, and the incessant throws to first continue.
You try to take a little spring out of the legs of Mookie Betts by making him dive back into the bag.
One man gone. Runner holding, swinging a high fly ball right field, backing up Williams, still backing up to the wall, now coming in, and he will make the play. The wind got a hold of that. 2 down.
It certainly did. You could see that ball once it got up above that the height of the area in center field. You see the way the wind's blowing in. It really took this ball back into the field of play. It's a changeup. And Bradley just gets underneath it. It looked for a while like it had a chance, but watch this. Watch him have to come back to his left, Williams, and make the play. The wind really took care of that one.
So two-away Brock Holt. He has lined to right and taken ball 4. That is up and in and almost got away from Sanchez. Nothing in the 7th. Brock has hit safely in 4 in a row. Betts holding, and that misses. In the top of the 7th inning at Toronto, Blue Jays 2 and the Orioles nothing. Red Sox are trying to win this division on the same date for the 3rd time, September 28th. 3-0. He's already walked Brock Holt once, including that 5th inning when he rocked 3 consecutive men. Benintendi on deck. And Mitchell's 3-0. And that is ball 4. It gets underneath the catcher, but down to second is Mookie Betts.
That might be the night for him. We'll see. Man in scoring position, left-hander coming up. Left-hander loose in the bullpen. See if Girardi makes a move here.
Hey, tonight, after Red Sox coverage on NESN Sports Today, see highlights from the Bruins preseason game against the Red Wings and a preview of the Pats divisional matchup with the Bills on Sunday. NESN Sports Today presented by People's United Bank.
Well, it's not going to be a move right now to take the pitcher out of the game, that's for sure. Pitching coach going out, Girardi not.
So it's Larry Rothschild out to the hill. Benintendi has struck out and popped up. He popped up with a couple of men on base in the 5th inning. And that was after a ball 4 to Brock Holt. So we'll see what he's looking for here.
I'll tell you what I'm looking for. One of those batting practice home runs right now. That would be nice.
He had a bunch of them around 5 o'clock.
Yeah. Move him to 9-10.
Two out and 2 on, and very good speed on the bases for the Red Sox. Trying to get that first run across, and a ground ball to first base. Teixeira handles that chance, and that will do it. Benintendi very anxious, and he grounds out to first to end that threat. Great pitchers duel here tonight as the Red Sox are trying to capture the American League East and can do so with a victory. They've had the better chances tonight, but still a 0-0 game. Boston Red Sox baseball on NESN is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. BuyAToyota.com, Toyota's website for deals. Digital Federal Credit Union. See what DCU can save you. And by Subaru Retailers of New England. So the mist continues to fall. Clay Buchholz is done for the night. This call to the bullpen brought to you by Kia. And Clay was exceptionally good as he allowed only one hit through 6 innings and gives the baseball over to the Submariner Brad Ziegler. Which is brought to you by McDonald's. I'm loving it. He comes in with a nifty 133 earned run average. So the only hit in the ball game against Clay Buchholz came off of the bat of Brett Gardner. That was an infield hit. The one that Brock Holt had to charge on went off his fingertips.
Yeah, a little squibber down the third base line.
And Barnes and Scott now warming up in the Red Sox bullpen.
I wonder if this is going to be one batter and out for Ziegler. Facing Sanchez, you got McCann on deck, and you got a left-hander loosening in the bullpen, left and right-handed. So we'll see if there's multiple switches here in this inning.
And Sanchez tonight with a strikeout and a tapper to the shortstop. Then it's McCann and Castro scheduled to follow. So we'll see how long Ziegler stays in the game. His first pitch on the way here in the bottom of the 7th inning, and that's going to be low for a ball. The 1-0 to the young home run hitter, and that's downstairs.
Now, once again, Buchholz was outstanding in this game tonight, and as we predicted at the beginning of the ball game, it was a lot of off-speed pitches, curveballs, changeups, two-seam fastballs, cut fastballs.
The 2-0, and that's going to miss for ball 3. So it goes to 3-0 on Sanchez. Taking all the way, and that's in there for a strike right down the middle. Foul tipped right into the mitt to fill up the count. And a payoff pitch. Socked on the ground to third, and Holt will gobble that up for a fast out. Let's get down to Garen Austin.
Be in his final season, David Ortiz is still one of the top hitters in baseball, and now you can get free text alerts to let you know every time he is coming up to bat, along with advance notice of his farewell celebrations on the road and special Poppy programs coming up on NESN. Just text Poppy to 536-536. All this made possible by BuyAToyota.com, Toyota's website for deals. Message and data rates may apply. OB, back to you.
Okay, Garen, thank you very much. Here's McCann now. He is struck out looking and popped out foul to the catcher. 0 for 2. Ziegler staying on to face him. Big overshift around to the right on McCann. He is the DH tonight. 19 home runs. 2-0 coming, and fouled away at the plate.
This matchup a little bit scary to me because Ziegler, of course, a sinker ball pitcher, and McCann, a pretty good low ball hitter.
Brad has not allowed an earned run in 18 consecutive appearances, going back to August 13th. Off the glove into right field. Pedroia back to first. Will it be in time? Yes, it will. Hanley got back to cover. That's the second time tonight a play like that has occurred on the infield.
Unbelievable. We've seen a 5-6-3, and now we see a 3-4-3. You're gonna be kidding me. Well, let's put it this way. The ball is bouncing the right way for the Red Sox in this game. They just got to go on and win it now.
You ain't lying. It is bouncing the Sox way. And Castro will be in next. He's gone 0 for 2. Still no score here in the 7th. Bottom of the 7th in Toronto, 2-0 Blue Jays leading the Orioles. Castro another home run threat. He's hit 21 of them. But he went 0 for 2 tonight against Clay Buchholz. He's the guy that hit that ricochet shot that went 5-6-3 in the 5th inning, where Bogarts hauled it in. High topper. Brock Holt, plenty of time, and puts him away. Ziegler, good work. 3 ground ball outs. We go to the 8th. 0-0. Nesson is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. 8th inning, still no score here at Yankee Stadium. And a pitching change for the Yankees. That night is over for Brian Mitchell. Very impressive, over 7, allowing just a couple of hits. And Adam Warren, the right-hander, taking over for his 28th appearance. Former Yankee, then came back to them. He was acquired in a deal from the Cubs back in July, and has not allowed a run his first 9 appearances back with New York. Taking on Sandy Leon, who has walked and grounded out tonight. Then it'll be Pedroia and Bogarts. 1 run may be enough tonight. Sandy trying to battle out of a 1 for 22. He has hit the Yankees particularly well all season. Activity in the Red Sox bullpen. Koji getting going. And the 2-1.
We see the game plan too. Everything away from Sandy Leon. If they're going to get beat, it's going to have to be to the opposite field.
Well, Sandy hitting from the left side, 314 down that line, and he'll ask for time. Warren wants to work very quickly. Very few base runners in this one. Here comes the 2-2. And roll toward the second baseman. Castro from right field, and he boots it. He just flat booted it. So the leadoff man is on here in the 8th.
Now the Red Sox looking for a break offensively any way they can get it, and they get a gift here from Castro as he charges the ball, and you can see it right there clank off the heel of his glove as he blows a bubble.
The Red Sox are going to run for Leon, and it'll be Michael Hernandez to take over at first base for him. So for the second straight inning, the Red Sox have the leadoff man on. Headley is now in at third, and Pedroia the batter. Dustin is 0 for 3 tonight. And the first one in for strike one. Red Sox win, and they win the American League East here tonight. Hernandez with a short lead, but back in. Fans, you can customize your batting gloves like Dustin Pedroia does at franklinsports.com/custom. Enter the code NESSN20 to receive 20% off at checkout. Franklin proud to be the official batting glove of Major League Baseball. The 0-1. Fly ball toward the alley. That's into the gap. Sailing back there. It's onto the warning track. And it'll bounce over the wall. And so that'll be 2 bases for Dustin Pedroia. Hernandez has to stop at third base. Well, if the ballpark had held it, the Red Sox would have the first run.
It certainly would. If this ball stays in the park, it's 1-0. Pedroia going a long way to the opposite field, out near that 385 mark. As you can see, the bullpen area, one big bounce into the bullpen, and that cost the Red Sox a run. Now with Bogaerts coming to the plate this late in the ball game, the infield comes in for the Yankees.
Nobody out, second and third for the Sox here, and Bogaerts the batter. He is 0 for 3. He's hit the ball on the ground 3 times tonight. If he can get one in the air, medium depth, the Red Sox can take the lead. And that'll be ball 1. Ortiz on deck. Best scoring chance all night for the Sox.
Sanders got to be thinking about something he can lift. Keep the ball off the ground.
And Warren deals. Fouled back.
He had it too. He had it right there.
86. It caught a lot of the plate.
Yeah, fastball, a little cut fastball, as you can see. That's going to be on the inside part of the plate. It's elevated, but foul straight back.
A Yankee error and a Pedroia double. And the Red Sox are in business here in the 8th inning in a 0-0 game. Nobody out.
Well, many times tonight, that pitch right there has been called a strike. Not that time.
2-1. 88 RBIs for Xander. Infield leaning in for the Yankees. The 2-1. Foul back.
Another pitch he could lift right there. Fastball a little bit up out of the strike zone, but something that if you make contact with, you're probably going to hit it in the air to the outfield. And you get 1 run.
Red Sox trying to take the lead at last. Here at the top of the 8th, 0-0. And now Xander will get a time from Tumpain. Two balls, 2 strikes on Bogaerts. Here comes. That's downstairs. Ball 3.
Not even close to being a strike, and it's a good thing Bogaerts didn't swing at that because that is a ground ball pitch.
In the chill and the mist at Yankee Stadium, the Red Sox are a base hit away from taking the lead. On a night they can clinch. Here's the 3-2. And a line shot caught by the third baseman. Everybody got back as Headley snared it. Now number 1.
Well, I'll tell you what, too. Hernandez, good base running as he got back. Natural reaction. A line drive is take a step or 2 toward home plate. But he was able to get back very quickly. There's contact, and he goes right back to the bag. Good base running. No way they pitched to Ortiz.
Now Girardi's already signaled for the intentional walk here, and that's going to load up the bases with 1 down for Mookie Betts. So Ortiz will get nothing to swing at. He's 0 for 3 tonight, but Betts should.
And Mookie Betts will be set up for an MVP moment.
And here comes ball 3 to Big Papi. We'll load him up here at Yankee Stadium in a 0-0 game. David already taken off the elbow guard, and there is ball 4. Time for a game break. Brought to you by Jordan's, the furniture store of the Boston Red Sox. Here's Tom Caron. Tom, thank you very much. Red Sox 0, Yankees 0. Bases loaded for the Red Sox. Mookie Betts with 110 RBIs will climb in. He is 1 for 3 tonight with a single. 1 man gone. High chopper down the line. That's a fair ball. It's going to keep on rolling. Hernandez is in. Pedroia scores, and the Red Sox have a 2-0 lead. Jerry, you called it an MVP moment. He delivers with a high bouncer.
I'll tell you, I didn't expect that, though. A ball bouncing that high in front of home plate and getting over the head of Chase Headley down at third base. I mean, look at this ball bounce. You know, everything is going the Red Sox way tonight. A couple of defensive plays that you just don't often see or almost never see. A bounce like this with the bases loaded going over the head of Chase Headley. 2 runs come in to score. Now they're going to walk Hanley Ramirez to try to set up a double play.
This will reload the bases. It's a 2-run double for Mookie Betts, who comes through in the clutch. And the Sox are in front 2-0 in the 8th. That'll bring up Jackie Bradley in a moment.
They've got left-handed action out in the bullpen. We'll see if he's going to be ready in time for Bradley.
Here comes ball 4. So the bases are loaded again, and here comes Joe Girardi. He wants Tommy Lane. For Jackie Bradley. An inning that began with an error, with Castro blowing bubbles and booting it in shallow right field. Then Pedroia with the clutch double. And moments ago, Mookie Betts with a 2-run, 2-base hit. We'll take the break and be back with more from Yankee Stadium in just a moment. Brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. Tommy Lane out of the bullpen. No place to put Jackie Bradley. That's off the glove. Here comes Big Poppy. He's trying to score. The throw home, a collision. It spits free. He scores. David Ortiz thundering home, and the Red Sox lead it 3-0.
Wow.
In the raindrops and slamming into the catcher.
Dave, you talk about everything going right tonight for the Red Sox. When David Ortiz can score from third base on a pass ball, a wild pitch, everything's going right. First pitch from Lane, a breaking ball, and that should be a pass ball. That ball should have been handled by Sanchez.
It will be a pass ball as Ortiz comes romping home, sliding into Lane, his former teammate, and the baseball came free.
I'm curious, did David get the plate first, or did he get it after the ball came free?
Runners at second and third, infield in. And a 1-0 pitch to Jackie. High pop into center. There's a bit of a slip there by Ellsbury. Now comes charging, and he makes the play and flips it in. Betts back to third, and that's out number 2. The wind really carrying that one.
Yeah, and Jacoby's looking around saying, where's my infielders? Of course, they were playing in, but he had to, he had to go a long way to make that catch.
Almost to the infield.
Almost to the infield. You're exactly right. Look at him. He backs up. He slips. Now his infielders are in, but this ball keeps getting pushed by the wind.
So now Aaron Hill called on to pinch hit, and they're going to walk him. So this will be the third intentional pass issued by Girardi in the 8th inning, with the Red Sox in front 3-0. And Hill will stay in and play third. So it'll reload the bases. And Benintendi will be the 9th Red Sox batter here in the 8th. And maybe, just maybe, the 8th inning that clinches the division for the Red Sox. We shall see.
And it all started with what should have been a fairly routine out. A ground ball to Castro at second base in the shift.
Mookie Betts with a huge hit. The chopped 2-run double over the head of Chase Headley down the third base line. Red Sox adding another one on a pass ball on Sanchez to score David Ortiz from third. And now Benintendi can really bust it open. He's had a tough night. He's 0 for 3. A couple of times he swung at the first pitch with a chance to do some damage. But he has another opportunity and takes a strike.
You know, Dave, I'm going to tell you a small play that was big in this inning, and it's the pinch run of Marco Hernandez. The line drive goes to third base, and he does not get doubled up. That could have been 2 quick outs.
Huge.
In a New York second.
Read it perfectly, quickly back to the base. Red Sox ahead here 3-0 in the top half of the 8th. And popped into the left field. Here comes Gardner coming on, and he will make the play to retire the side. But the Red Sox scored 3 times. We go to the last half of the 8th, 3-0 Boston. Now brought to you by Old Dominion.
And that moment's going to be the base hit by Mookie Betts. It bounces out in front of home plate. A big high chop over the head of Chase Headley in third base. And the 2 runs come across for the Red Sox.
Now a couple of changes here for the Red Sox as we go to the last half of the 8th inning. Aaron Hill taking over at third. Brian Holiday is the new catcher. And Koji is the new pitcher. He tossed a scoreless 9th inning on Saturday against Tampa Bay. And has been just brilliant since coming back off the disabled list. And Gregorius will take ball 1. Fouled back to the screen. Tonight he has flied out to right and grounded to second. Fascinating watching that replay. Mookie Betts hitting the chopper. He took a couple of steps and then he almost stopped completely, thinking it was a foul ball.
Exactly.
And up and over the head of Headley and down the line to score 2 runs. Three runs on 4 hits now for the Red Sox. No runs on 1 hit and a big error, as it turns out, for the Yankees. That error started the rally. Teixeira on deck. No decision tonight for Clay Buchholz, but he was terrific over 6 innings. Foul tipped into the mitt and held by Holiday for the strikeout and 1 away.
It's amazing that Koji can still elevate a fastball and get you to strike out on it at about 87, 88 miles an hour. Upstairs they go. Foul tip right into the glove of Holiday.
1 away in the last half of the 8th inning. Here's Teixeira. He has tapped to third and whiffed tonight, 0 for 2. He'll be followed by Headley, who had no play on the double by Mookie. Toronto still leading Baltimore 2-1 in the 8th inning, but if the Red Sox win, it is over. And a foul ball. And of course, Kimbrel is available to close it out tonight.
Upstairs again.
1-2, and he just got a piece of it.
I mean, elevating a fastball at 86 miles an hour. And he gets away with it.
You know, we marveled 3 years ago when he was getting away with 88 up there.
Yeah, it's 86 now. The last pitch was 86 miles an hour. Back to the splitter.
2-2. Well outside on Teixeira. Who has 3 times in his outstanding career been a Silver Slugger winner. Payoff pitch. Fouled away again. Tomorrow at 6:30, don't miss Red Sox Game Day Live, presented by DCU. TC Dennis Eckersley. Steve Lyons will have a complete look at the Yankees farewell ceremony for Big Papi. DCU is Digital Federal Credit Union. What can DCU save you? And the 3-2 again to Teixeira. It has been a cool and wet night. Red Sox are hoping to celebrate. Champagne right now on ice. Trying to win the American League East right here. 3-2. And that one squibs underneath Holiday down low for ball 4. So Teixeira is on with 1 away in the 8th. In front of Chase Headley. Red Sox at the moment have nearly identical home and road records. 46-32 at Fenway, 46-33 on the road. And looking to pick up win number 93 in a clincher tonight. Cut on and missed by Headley. He's gone 0 for 2 with a fly to center and a ground ball to first.
Red Sox in the shift. They put Aaron Hill between Pedroia and Hanley Ramirez.
And Teixeira, the man at first base, with 1 away. Sox have turned 1 double play tonight. That was way back in the 1st inning. Clay Buchholz got Jacoby Ellsbury to hit into a 3-6 double play. And a 1-1 foul back into the net.
Headley late on that fastball. That fastball was 85. It's 2 pitches from Koji. The split-fingered fastball down, and the, well, from 85 to 88 fastball.
Sometimes it defies logic, but he gets it done. The 1-2 left it up top.
There it is. He goes again. He elevates at 85 and see if Headley would chase it, but he didn't. Back down with the splitter.
2-2, and he flicks that one foul back out of play. Young right fielder Mason Williams on deck. Very happy that Clay Buchholz has departed because Clay struck him out twice. Red Sox ahead here in the 8th inning, 3-0. On what could be a very, very memorable evening. Swinging a high fly to center field, backing up. Jackie Bradley now coming in a bit, and he's there for the catch. 2 down. Teixeira back to first. It's going to be Hicks to hit. Aaron Hicks will hit for Williams now. So Girardi goes to his bench and brings up a pinch batter. They're in the 9th inning at Toronto, and it's 2-1 Blue Jays. Toronto trying to win again head to head against the Orioles. Waved at and missed. Gardner would be next. But there are 2 down. The Yankees tonight have 1 hit. That was the Gardner infield single in the 4th inning. They were fortunate to get that.
Koji has 2 outs in the inning so far. Man at first base, he is not as sharp as we normally see him.
Walking Teixeira. Trying to pin down a 3rd out here in the 8th, the 1-1. Just a bit outside to make it 2-1. Koji working with Holiday now. After Sandy Leon departed for a pinch runner. Cut on and missed.
That's the old surprise pitch right there. 2-1. You think you're going to get the fastball from Koji, but you don't get it. You get the split-fingered fastball.
And Kimbrel's starting to loosen. Red Sox getting the closer going in the pen. Koji looking for another strikeout, and he left it low. 3-2. You can tell he knows it too, that he's not as sharp as he has been.
Yeah, it's not running smooth tonight for Koji.
So a full count here on Hicks. And a runner goes. Swinging a high fly ball into right center field. It hangs up in the mist, and backing up Jackie Bradley there to make the play and retire the side. 1 man left. We're going to the 9th inning at Yankee Stadium. Red Sox ahead 3-0. Eighth inning. Obviously the big one for the Red Sox. It started on the error.
Yeah, a booted ball right there by Castro, and then Pedroia with a big double in the gap, going a long way to right center field. Mookie Betts bouncing one in front of home plate, up over the head of Headley, over the third base bag, and 2 runs come across to score. Red Sox would add 1 more in the 8th.
Game summary brought to you by Xfinity. Clay Buchholz superb over 6 innings. No decision for him. Mookie Betts 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs on that chop double. Mitchell went 7. He was really good, the youngster for the Yankees, but Sox got 3 in the 8th inning, taking on their bullpen, and now closing in on the AL East. And this is the right-hander Jonathan Holder out of their bullpen. Made his major league debut on September 2nd in a loss to Baltimore. Holiday now the catcher, hitting .233 with a couple of home runs, and then it'll be Pedroia and Bogarts. Oh, 2.
That got the home plate umpire.
Sure did. John Tumpain.
Almost square. I don't know if it deflected off the glove of Sanchez at all. No, did not get the glove at all.
Speedway is proud to be New England's first choice for value and convenience. For every Red Sox homer this season, Speedway donates to Boston Children's Hospital. Stop by a Speedway store near you and pick up your free Spreedy rewards card and start earning points today. Catcher Sanchez went out and had a little conference there with the reliever, probably just to give Tumpain a break. And back behind there now, 1 ball and 2 strikes on Holiday. And he fouls that one away. Pedroia had a big hit in that 8th inning with that double and scored a run. He's been right in the middle of it time and time again. There's a high fly ball down the left field line toward the corner, and a foul ball. You're seeing almost no carry on anything hit high and deep in this ball game.
You're exactly right, Dave. There have been a couple that have been hit in this game that you thought might have been home runs.
Not in this weather, though. Wind has been blowing in, a thick mist, which has been hanging over Yankee Stadium tonight. Well, the Sox are in the lead, 3-0 in the 9th. That one popped up back over the top of the screen behind home plate. Hicks remained in the game to play right field after he batted for Williams. And a 1-2. And that one stroked down the line. This one on a line drive, but foul. The Red Sox pitching in the clutch tonight has really been outstanding, holding the Yankees to 1 hit.
And that a little dribbler down the third base line by Brett Gardner.
1-2. Fouled back again. Pedroia next, and then Xander Bogaerts. Xander hit a line drive that was caught by the third baseman in that 8th inning. But very alert base running by Hernandez got him safely back to third, so there was no double play. And that was a key moment. And the 8th inning rally. Here comes the 2-2. fouled away.
You see John Farrell right there when he was doing? He was looking at the scoreboard.
He did.
Yep. There's a good base running play by Hernandez right there. You know, his first instinct was to go back to the bag on a line drive. And that's exactly what he did. That could have easily have been a double play and maybe changed the whole complexion of the inning. Small thing.
Two, half a wave and a miss. Down he goes, strike three. Let's get you to a game break right now, and why John was looking at the scoreboard. Here's TC. Okay, Tom, don't go very far from that studio. TC will be right there. Throughout the evening, the Red Sox getting closer and closer to clinching the American League East. As Dustin Pedroia bats, he's gone 1 for 4 with a big double in the 8th inning. Once again, a key hit from the Red Sox second baseman, who is really having an exceptional season. The 0-1. And the 0-2 to Pedroia. On the infield, Gregorius. 2 down. Next in will be Xander Bogaerts. Hitless so far tonight. Xander has grounded out in front of home plate. Catcher handled that. Grounded to second, grounded to short, and line to third. Kimbrel is ready. Bases empty, 2 down. In there for a strike. Red Sox just off an 11-game winning streak, propelling them to the top of the standings with a nice margin. And tonight can wrap it up here on the 28th of September. No matter what is happening in Toronto.
And let's not forget, Dave, what Clay Buchholz did in this game for 6 innings. Outstanding against a heavy dominated left-handed lineup.
Outstanding again. Chop to the shortstop. Headley cuts it, throws, and not in time. Xander beating it up that line, safely aboard at first.
Yeah, a little bit of a double clutch by Headley. He couldn't get the ball out of his glove clean. If the ball goes to the shortstop, it's going to be an out, a base hit anyway. So Headley right here has to come in front of him, but watch him have trouble right there. Couldn't get the grip on it the first time. And by that time, it was too late.
And with David Ortiz coming up, Joe Girardi is out there to bring on another left-hander to face Big Poppy. So Xander Bogaerts safely on at first base with an infield hit. And that means David is next. They'll go to the bullpen. We'll take the break as well. Here in the 9th inning, Red Sox in front 3-0 over the Yankees, and more in a moment. In here against the left-hander, with the Red Sox in front 3-0, and Xander Bogaerts on at first base with 2 down here in the 9th inning. David was intentionally walked and eventually came in to score in the 8th inning as he came thundering home on a pass ball that got by Sanchez, and not an unlikely source to score a run on that play, but David did it. He can smell a division title. And a 1-0 drops in there for a strike.
Wouldn't he love to walk away from Yankee Stadium with one more home run?
You know he would. He's talked about how much enjoyment he gets out of playing at Yankee Stadium, and has throughout his career. Ground ball and snared by Castro from a knee. He's going to throw on to first base. He stole a hit there, and that will retire the side. It's time for Kimbrel, and the Red Sox 3 outs away from clinching the American League East. At Yankee Stadium with the Red Sox in the lead 3-0 over the New York Yankees. Craig Kimbrel on to close it out and bring the Boston Red Sox the American League East. Now 55 appearances, a .265 ERA for the right-hander, and he's going to get the top of the order for the New York Yankees: Gardner, Ellsbury, and Sanchez. And the Sox 3 outs away from winning the East. Gardner tonight has been on base 3 times. He's walked twice, and he has an infield single. And the first pitch on the way to the lefty hitter. He takes ball 1. 99 on the gun from Kimbrel. Here comes the 1-0 pitch, and that is in there for a strike. And the Baltimore Orioles have just defeated the Toronto Blue Jays. That game has gone final, and that means that the Boston Red Sox have won the American League East, and they're the high fives in the owner's box The Red Sox have done it. They're going to wind up capturing the flag here on Yankee soil as it's fouled away by Gardner, and to count 1 ball and 2 strikes.
What a great feeling for everybody. You know, the guys on the field obviously still focused, but the guys in the dugout, they certainly know by now as they saw the score go up on the scoreboard.
And now getting ready to party. So there it is officially. The Red Sox, the 2016 American League East Division champs. And fouled away by Gardner.
You know, Dave, we talked about the last half of this season. And we talked about how the Red Sox were going to have to win this thing on the road. Well, they're going to win this. They have won this on the road. But not just this game. Those 3 long road trips. How good they played on those trips away from Fenway Park.
There's no question about that, and that's where this team really seemed to come together. As Gardner, did he hold up? He did. Really seemed to come together as a group, and the confidence just grew and grew throughout those road trips. The 4-city trip in particular. And then the West Coast swings in the second half.
And the other thing to think about also is the turnaround in the pitching staff.
Inside for a ball, now 3-2. You make a great point. For the first half, Jerry, the Red Sox were knocking around like at 10 and even 11 in staff ERA in the American League.
You're exactly right. Where are they today? They are somewhere around 3rd, 4th.
Yep. Made a huge difference. Huge difference.
Incredible difference when they're playing that many road games. And especially heading into postseason.
Line shot and a base hit into center field. So Gardner continues to be a pest tonight. He's on for the 4th time. And Jacoby Ellsbury will be next. Well, if the situation here with the Red Sox winning the division, they have already clinched, of course. NESN will stay live and bring you the clubhouse celebration right here in New York. We'll be postponing the premiere of our 2nd special documentary about David Ortiz, presented by Foxwoods Resort Casino. That film will premiere on NESN tomorrow night at 10, immediately following the conclusion of the Red Sox and Yankees game. So here's Ellsbury. He's gone 0 for 3. He has hit into a double play, popped up to first, and struck out. So the Red Sox just needing to put the finishing touches on tonight. John Farrell and his team can celebrate here at Yankee Stadium. Trying to put this one away with a victory. That one up high, and down to second base goes Gardner.
And defensive indifference. Red Sox obviously playing behind Gardner. They don't care about his run.
Red Sox ahead here 3-0. Just 2 Yankee hits the entire night, and Gardner has both of them. Well, that is going to be a very sweet final regular season weekend for the Boston Red Sox against Toronto coming up, with all sorts of celebrations around not only the ball club but David Ortiz, and knowing it won't be for the last time.
Look at Ortiz. He's got his red armband going. He's got the, instead of the cigar going, he's got the shirt outside the pants.
And a 2-0 pitch. Outside on Ellsbury to make it 3-0. How sweet for David in his final year to be a division champion once again, knowing that October awaits for Big Papi. One final October. In for a strike. And for so many of the young Red Sox, it'll be for the first time.
And who do they look to leadership? Ortiz, Pedroia, guys that have been there.
Now, they were both part of that 8th inning tonight. That one golf foul out of play by Ellsbury. So as it turned out, the Red Sox did not have to win to clinch the division, but they'd like to do that. Get a win anyway. Pick up their 93rd victory of the season. Baltimore helping out tonight with a 3-2 come from behind victory at Toronto. And Kimbrel with a 3-2 pitch. And he walks him. So a single and a ball 4. They're on at first and second with Sanchez due up. Sanchez tonight has struck out, grounded out to third, and grounded out to short. And now Carl Willis will head on out to the hill.
Would you say that Kimbrel may have been a little over-amped coming into this game tonight?
Yeah, I think he can be forgiven for that. No question. The rain picking up a little bit in intensity. Still light. But the wind has really been gusting all night long. Red Sox trying to focus and put this one into the win column tonight. Kind of nasty conditions all evening here in New York. And that'll set up Sanchez. Low scoring affair, and it was 0-0 until the Red Sox scored 3 times in the 8th inning to take hold of this thing. Gardner at second and Ellsbury on at first, and nobody out. Trying to hold up, but a swing and a miss for strike 1.
That's the thing about Kimbrel. I mean, you expect it to be a fastball in that situation. No, he goes with a hard curveball. Very difficult to read.
And the 0-1 pitch now to Sanchez. Underneath. Gets under Holiday, and the runners are going to move up to second and third. Been kind of an ugly bottom of the 9th inning to this point. That'll be a wild pitch. McCann on deck. 2 men in scoring position for the Yankees. They're trying to rally here against Kimbrel. And now Sanchez will ask for time, and he'll get it from Tumpain. Gardner and Ellsbury off the bases, and the 1-1. He lets it go downstairs. Now, another score that has a lot of meaning to the Red Sox is in the bottom of the 7th inning right now. Milwaukee leading Texas 5-4. Red Sox, every victory is going to be precious still the rest of the way because they want that home field advantage, and they can jump over the Rangers with a victory here tonight if Texas loses.
It's like it never stops, right? I mean, you know, you make your wild card, then you get the division, then you want best record. And it just goes on, and it's going to go on and on to the last day. This is going to be an incredible race for all of those things right through Sunday.
I agree. You know, Toronto's coming in over the weekend. Those are giant games for them. Watch the check swing. So the count 3-1 on Sanchez, turning into a long inning here for Kimbrel. He's taking, and that's going to be ball 4. So that's going to load up the bases with nobody out.
Now you got to get somebody loose in the bullpen now for Kimbrel, just in case. You don't want him throwing too many pitches in this inning. You've won the American League Division, Eastern Division, and he has been all over the place. Did you ever think he would be on the mound starting in a clincher?
I think there were times he had to doubt it, Jerry.
About 2 months ago, did you ever think that?
And yet tonight, a sensational performance over 6 innings. Allowed just 1 hit. Keeping the Yankees at bay until the Red Sox could score 3 times in the 8th. And here's McCann. Bases all loaded up, and he fouls that one back. Red Sox fans want to see this one come to an end so they can start celebrating along with the ball club, even though the division is already secured.
Yeah, this is kind of strange, isn't it?
It is a little bizarre. Nobody out, bases loaded, and trickled foul by McCann. And Kelly is up in the bullpen. I think it would feel a whole lot better to Sox fans if the Red Sox can win the ball game, even though the division is already won. Here comes the 0-2 pitch to McCann, and he missed badly there. You may see Kelly in the game yet. Back-to-back walks after the single by Gardner, loading the bases. And a 1-2 coming. 2-2.
Been all over the place with his fastball tonight.
Gardner at third, Ellsbury at second, Sanchez at first. And time is asked for. Torres came on to run for Sanchez. And now Holiday out to the hill. This is the Yard House Bar and Restaurant right down the street from Fenway. Everybody wants to start making some noise, if they're not already. And Kimbrel takes a sign out of 2-2 to McCann, and fouled away. Starlin Castro on deck. He committed that key error to begin the 8th inning with Sandy Leon batting on what should have been a routine out, really. And he booted it in right field, and then Pedroia doubled. And after the line out by Bogarts, they walked Ortiz to load up the bases, setting the stage for Mookie Betts, who chopped a 2-run double past third over the third baseman's head. So now the count goes to 3-2 on McCann. Kelly getting ready in the bullpen. Kimbrel unable to get an out to this point. (3-2) and fouled back. Now the Red Sox want to get in there with the champagne, but it's being delayed forever.
Everybody wants to get into the clubhouse.
It is taking the longest time just to get an out. 3-2 again to McCann. And ripped down the line, but he hooked it foul. And now a big conference on the hill for Boston.
Yeah, Pedroia was the first one to start in to talk to Kimbrel. Hanley joined him. Halladay.
I'm getting texts from people all over New England saying, let's finish this. One after another. We're with you. You ready in the yard house tonight? Kimbrel trying to get his first out on McCann. Bases loaded and the 3-2. And a little squibber toward third base, but a foul ball.
This will be the last batter that he'll probably face. I wouldn't be surprised at all if they go get Kelly out of the bullpen. There's been a lot of pitches here for Kimbrel, and just having all kind of trouble getting outs.
A single by Gardner, a walk to Ellsbury, and a walk to Sanchez. McCann just missed one down the line. Here comes the 3-2 once again. And he walks him. That's going to bring in a run. Here comes Gardner. 3 consecutive walks. And John Farrell ready to make a move here. So that'll do it for Kimbrel. That was ugly. He has been pitching so effectively. And actually has been amazingly efficient. But tonight, a whole different story.
Like Kimbrel trying to talk Farrell out of taking him out of the ball game. Farrell having some words for Kimbrel on why he's made this decision. I don't think there's any question why the decision has been made.
Yep. So Kelly coming on, trying to get out of the mess here. We'll take the break as well. Bases are still loaded, and the Yankees are finally on the board here. It is 3-1 Red Sox. Yankee Stadium, where the Red Sox are trying to put this one away, really just trying to get the first out in the 9th inning. The bases all loaded up for the New York Yankees. Castro about to be the batter, and John Farrell certainly doing something he never wants to do, take his closer out of an inning. But he brings on Kelly, who earned the win with 2 2/3 scoreless innings of relief on Sunday against Tampa Bay in that strikeout fest, in which the Red Sox fanned 23, including 11 in a row, in sweeping the Tampa Bay Rays. But they're all filled up. Gardner just forced in on the walk to McCann. Red Sox would love to walk off Yankee Stadium and the turf here tonight with a victory. But this is going to be a struggle. Nobody out. Castro's gone 0 for 3. And Kelly's first one is fouled away for strike 1.
Castro going for the downs on that swing too, except that he got a curveball from Kelly. He's thinking about turning around a fastball right there.
Ellsbury at third, Torres at second, and McCann. They have run for him at first base. Here comes the 0-1. Check swing. Did he offer? He did. 0-2 on Castro.
I don't think there's any question that he did go on that one.
Eric Young Jr. taking over as the base runner at first base for the Yankees. And the 0-2 to Castro. He got him, and that is out number 1.
Well, that's pretty nasty by Kelly right there. Fastball down and away, and it's really a pitch that you can only admire as a hitter. What are you going to do with it? If you swing at it, hopefully you foul it off. Perfect location for Joe Kelly.
Right on the corner. Is Gregorius. He's gone 0 for 3. One down, bottom of the ninth, 3-1 Boston.
Second batter in a row that Kelly has started off with his curveball.
There are Red Sox fans remaining here, of course, not a whole lot of Yankee fans. They left a long time ago, most of them. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. And knocked foul back to the screen. And the Red Sox took that 3-0 lead in the 8th inning. That's when a lot of them hit the exits. Bit of an anticlimax here tonight as Baltimore came from behind to stun Toronto 3-2. And at that moment, the Red Sox had won the East. High fly into left. Out goes Bogaerts coming on Benintendi. Xander there to foul ground. He'll make the play. The runners will hold. And they're 2 down. Red Sox fans still want that feeling of victory.
Yeah, walk off the field with a W.
So the base is loaded up here for Mark Teixeira, who has had a quiet night for the most part. He has grounded to third, struck out, and taken ball 4. Two down finally here in the last half of the 9th inning. And strike 1.
And once again the curveball. 3 guys in a row. Kelly has started off with the breaking ball.
The 0-1 to Teixeira. High fly ball into right center field. Well hit. Bradley racing back. Back he goes. It is gone. Mark Teixeira hits it out of the ballpark for a walk-off.
Oh, is this bizarre?
What a crazy, crazy ending to this one. So the Yankees celebrate, and so do the Red Sox tonight.